6 lucky numbers to win big and get rich. On the 5th of July, 2025 Buddhist teachings. Have you ever felt like the universe is trying to tell you something through a number, a recurring moment, or an unshakable feeling you can't quite explain? We live in a noisy world where luck is often reduced to lottery tickets, sudden windfalls, or random chance. But in Buddhist wisdom, luck isn't random. It's a result of awareness, intention, and your willingness to listen to the subtle signs life is quietly placing in front of you. July 5th, 2025 is not just another date on the calendar. For those who are paying attention not just with their eyes, but with their hearts, it marks a unique, energetic doorway. A moment when certain numbers, vibrating at higher spiritual frequencies, can unlock deep transformation both financially and spiritually. In today's video, we'll explore 6 powerful lucky numbers that aren't just about winning big, but about realigning with your higher purpose, your inner truth, and your capacity to grow in wealth inside and out. And if you're standing at a crossroads in life feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or simply sensing that you were meant for more, then maybe, just maybe, this video is the sign you've been waiting for. 1. Number 5. Have you ever felt like life is stuck on repeat each day, blending into the next, like you're living the same script over and over? You wake up, reach for your phone, go through the motions, tell yourself, tomorrow I'll change something. But somehow, tomorrow always ends up looking just like today. It's not laziness or lack of ambition, it's deeper than that. It's the stillness before change, the soul waiting for a sign, a nudge, a green light that never quite arrives. Then one ordinary momento, quote, a song, a sudden thought jolts you, and something stirs in your chest. That spark, that internal shift, is the energy of the number 5 coming into your life. 5 isn't subtle. It doesn't whisper or tiptoe, it's the gust of wind that flings open the window and reminds you the air outside is fresh, free, and full of possibility. In Buddhist numerology, the number 5 is a powerful symbol of motion, transformation, and spiritual liberation. It shows up when it's time to break free from what no longer serves you, not through chaos, but through conscious disruption. Think of it as a divine wake-up call, cosmic alarm that shakes your comfort zone and says, you're more than this. The Buddha once said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Number 5 carries that same message. It's time to walk, to move, to act. Especially in July 2025, this energy is magnified, deeply aligned with Mercury, planet of communication, clarity, and bold new steps. When you start noticing the number 5 on clocks, receipts, or random places, it's not a coincidence, it's a message, a subtle nudge from the universe that says, you're not stuck, you're simply being invited to grow. So ask yourself, what area of your life feels paused? What story are you telling yourself that keeps you from stepping forward? Buddhism teaches that suffering arises from clinging to fear, habits, the illusion of certainty. 5 arrives not to wreck your world, but to help you let go gently, to help you move. And yes, let's talk about abundance, not just spiritual but financial. True prosperity isn't luck that strikes randomly. It follows energy. When you move with intention, when you apply, create, connect, and try again, doors begin to open. What if it does work this time? That's the question 5 brings to your heart. So if you've been seeing this number, take it seriously. This isn't just a symbol, it's an invitation to begin again. July's energy doesn't ask you to wait for the perfect time. It says, start now. Your lucky number is not just a number, it's a message. Will you answer? 2. Number 11. Let this be your gentle reminder. Real transformation doesn't rush in like a storm, it unfolds slowly. in moments of clarity when you are grounded, present, and deeply awake. Have you ever noticed a number that quietly follows you around? Not loud or dramatic, but soft and persistent, and clocks, receipts, phone calls, it appears like a whisper trying to catch your attention. For many, that number is 11. At first glance, it's just two simple lines, nothing flashy, nothing bold. But the power of 11 isn't in how it looks, it's in how it feels. It carries a quiet energy, one that lingers, one that invites stillness. In Buddhist thought, we often return to this. Awareness is not found in chaos, but in calm. The number 11 mirrors that very principle it stands between worlds, not just between digits, but between the outer world and your inner truth, between logic and intuition, between noise and clarity. Have you ever felt something deeply and couldn't explain it? Like you could walk into a room and know something was off before anyone said a word. That's not random, it's the presence of subtle awareness that 11 tends to awaken in people. You might have vivid dreams, a sudden gut feeling, or feel waves of emotion out of nowhere, and that can be hard in a world that celebrates quick fixes and surface answers. Have you ever been told you're too sensitive, or that you need to be more logical, and yet, deep down, you still feel what's true for you? That's the deeper calling of 11. Can you trust your inner knowing, even when others can't see it? Can you walk your own path when the world keeps handing you someone else's map? This matters now more than ever. As the energy of the cosmos shifts, especially with Uranus stirring sudden insights and spiritual awakenings, you may already feel it. Restlessness, emotion without reason, a quiet pull towards something different. If you felt uncertain or more emotional than usual, pause before labeling it anxiety. It may be your system adjusting, realigning with deeper truths. Especially starting the 5th of July, a window opens for inner clarity. Maybe you'll finally feel the fog lifting around a long-standing decision, or a quiet realization might rise unexpected, yet unmistakable. Don't ignore it. The number 11 doesn't bring loud miracles. It moves in stillness, through patterns, chills, synchronicities, and gut feelings. Its magic is not in thunder, but in the soft voice inside that says, "You're on the right path." So, let me ask you, what is your intuition trying to tell you right now? What have you been sensing that you haven't yet honored? And can you allow yourself to slow down long enough to listen? Because this isn't about luck in the way most people think, it's about alignment. And when your inner world aligns with the rhythm of the universe, that's when real fortune begins. 3. Number 17. Now, we shine a light on the number 17, a number that might seem ordinary at first glance, but carries a profound spiritual message, especially during the energetic window of July 5th, 2025. Have you ever felt like you're working so hard to rebuild yourself, but no one really sees the struggle? That silent, persistent effort, the daily choice to rise, to heal, and to keep going without applauses, the quiet power of 17. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It walks beside you when you're standing in the middle of your own storm, unsure of what's next, but still refusing to give up. The number 1 in 17 represents courage, the kind you summon when everything feels uncertain, when starting again is harder than staying broken. The number 7 symbolizes the spiritual seeker in you, the part that longs for deeper meaning, for truth beyond appearances. Together, they form 8, the number of balance, karma, and infinite strength, a symbol of growth that is earned, not given. The Buddha once said, "Endurance is one of the most difficult disciplines, but it is to the one who endures that the final victory comes." That is the essence of 17, endurance in silence, strength in humility, and transformation that begins within. It's the number for those walking through life's unseen battles, for those practicing what the Buddha called right effort steadily, improving themselves, not for recognition, but because it is the right thing to do. Do you recognize that energy in your own life? Perhaps you've seen 17 pop up recently in a timestamp, a receipt, a dream, and wondered if it meant something. What if it's not a coincidence? What if it's the universe's quiet way of reminding you that you're not lost, you're in the process of becoming? Saturn, the planet linked to 17, teaches us not through ease, but through challenge. Its lessons may feel heavy, but they bring wisdom, discipline, and depth that no shortcut can offer. So, during this rich spiritual moment in July 2025, if you feel stuck or uncertain, remember that 17 is here as a spiritual signpost, asking you not to quit, not yet. Not when your future self is watching you right now, hoping you'll keep going. As the Zen saying goes, the obstacle is the path. So close your eyes for a moment and feel your breath slow, steady, alive. That is the architect of your future, the energy that is quietly building your next chapter. Can you trust that even without fanfare, something powerful is unfolding? Let 17 guide you with patience, integrity, and quiet strength, because this isn't the end. This is the sacred beginning. You've now seen 3 powerful numbers, each one carrying its own vibration of fortune. If your heart feels aligned with what you've heard so far, type "open to blessings" in the comments. It's not just about the numbers, it's about your intention. Stay with us, your next lucky number might be the one that changes everything. 4. Number 14. Let's take a deeper look into the quiet, powerful presence of number 14, a number that doesn't demand attention, but instead whispers its wisdom to those ready to listen. In a world that often rewards noise and speed, number 14 teaches the art of silent awakening. You weren't necessarily looking for signs, but then it started showing upon a receipt, a clock, a random table assignment, and something inside you stirred. That repetition isn't coincidence. It's consciousness meeting readiness. In Buddhism, subtle signs are often the language of karmic unfolding, soft reminders that the moment to act, to grow, to transform is not ahead of you, but here. As the Buddha once said, what you are is what you have been. What you'll be is what you do now. The energy of 14 especially aligns with early July, a time when many feel a shift in energy internally and externally. In Buddhist numerology, 14 symbolizes evolved transformation, where you are no longer reacting to life, but co-creating with it. This isn't about beginning from nothing. It's about beginning with everything you've already survived, understood, and released. The number breaks down to 1 plus 4. The 1 is your clarity, your new spark, the boldness to say, I will try again. It represents intention, vision, and the courage to act from wisdom rather than impulse. The 4 is your steady base discipline, groundedness, and the plan that turns hope into progress. Together, they form a sacred alliance, ambition rooted in balance. This is not reckless movement, it's conscious evolution. When you pair this with the universal energy of number 5, which symbolizes momentum and meaningful risk, it's as if the universe is gently waving a banner that says, proceed not in haste, but in harmony. Lao Tzu reminded us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and number 14 often arrives just as you're about to take that next step. So if this number keeps appearing in your life, it's a sacred invitation. Your life isn't stuck, it's gestating something new. Whether it's your career, your relationships, or your inner world, 14 is the gentle nudge that says your foundation is strong enough now to hold something greater. Don't rush the process, but don't ignore the call, because sometimes what looks like coincidence is really your consciousness nudging you to wake up just a little more. Stay grounded, stay clear, and trust that the path is already opening beneath your feet, one aligned step at a time. 5. Number 27. Number 27. Have you noticed it gently weaving into your daily life? Maybe it's 27% on your phone battery, a $27 receipt, or apartment 27 catching your eye for no clear reason. It's not loud or flashy, it's quiet, subtle, almost like a whisper from the universe. And while most people dismiss it as coincidence, you're here because you sense something deeper. In Buddhism, we're taught that awareness is key. When you start paying attention, you realize that nothing repeats without reason. The number 27 isn't just luck, it's a signal, a soft nudge that your inner world and the path you walk are beginning to align. Let's explore why. In the ancient language of numerology, numbers are more than digits, they are vibrations. The number 2 holds the energy of harmony, compassion, and emotional intuition. It invites you to listen to the quiet voice inside and to cultivate deeper relationships, including the one you have with yourself. Then comes 7, the seeketh energy of spiritual wisdom, introspection, and the desire to uncover hidden truths. When these two energies combine, 27 becomes more than just a number. It becomes a spiritual checkpointer moment when you're being invited to realign your life with what truly matters. In the teachings of the Buddha, this reflects the middle way, not swinging between extremes, but walking with balance, effort, and awareness. Have you been making decisions from pressure instead of peace? Are you moving fast to avoid a deeper question that needs attention? 27 reminds you that you don't need to chase perfection, just truth. It shows up when you're ready, not when everything is fixed, but when you're finally prepared to see clearly and move with authenticity. Some Buddhist numerologists even call 27 the harmony key, appearing when your soul wants to get back in sync with your purpose. So when you see this number, pause. Ask yourself, what in me needs to realign? What truth have I been quietly avoiding? What courage have I been waiting to find? Because if 27 is showing up, you're not far from the shift your spirit has been calling for. And the beautiful part is, you're not alone. You're already listening, already awakening. Keep your heart open, because in a moment, we'll reveal another rare and powerful number, of frequency known to break open what's been stuck and to invite abundance, flow, and transformation. Today's lesson: stay present. Notice the signs. Don't ignore what quietly repeats, because often the softest signals carry the most profound wisdom. 6. Number 33. Have you ever felt like a number is quietly following you, showing up again and again like a soft echo in your life? Maybe it's 3:33 in the morning when you glance at the clock, or your coffee receipt totals exactly $3.33. Then, later that day, you see 33 on a license plate or a room number, and suddenly, it's not just a coincidence. You start to wonder, why this number? Why now? That's the quiet power of 33. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It whispers, gently tapping your spirit as if to say, wake up, you're being guided. In Buddhist thought and sacred numerology, 33 is what we call a master number. It represents something more than material gain. It is the vibration of higher purpose, silent strength, and a deep inner knowing. This isn't the kind of luck that buys lottery tickets. It's the kind of luck that aligns your soul with compassion, service, and quiet joy. The Buddha once said, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. And that is the heart of 33. It is the number of those who light the way for others, not seeking reward, but because something within them knows it is the right thing to do. Have you ever had a moment where you gave without expecting anything in return and afterward felt more whole? Or when you truly listened to someone in pain and somehow you both felt healed by the silence? That is the spiritual essence of 33. It carries the energies of creativity, love, and emotional depth, the 3 and 3 forming a 6, a number rooted in balance, nurturing, and soulful connection. This number is often seen by those who are being asked to live with more awareness, more presence, more love. It is a sacred invitation to live not louder, but deeper. Across many spiritual paths, 33 is seen as a divine sign, a reminder that unseen energies, guides, ancestors, or universal forces are walking beside you. What if the presence of this number in your life is not a coincidence, but a message? What if it's reminding you that you're already on the right path, even if it doesn't feel that way right now? So I invite you, the next time you see 33, to pause, breathe, don't rush by. Ask yourself, what part of me is waking up? What truth have I been too busy to hear? The number 33 doesn't promise quick wealth, but it offers something richer: peace, purpose, and a deeper connection to the truth of who you are. That is a kind of winning the world can never take away. If you've made it this far, you're already aligning yourself with the energy of abundance and good fortune. These 6 lucky numbers could be the turning point on your journey to wealth and prosperity this the 5th of July. Comment below with lucky path to affirm your readiness to receive blessings and opportunities. Stay with us until the end. There's still more wisdom rooted in Buddhist teachings that may guide you toward a brighter, richer future. The truth about wealth that few tell you. Everyone talks about getting rich, but almost no one tells you what real wealth actually looks like. It's not just about fancy watches, sports cars, or private jets. The truth is, most of what we're taught about money is either outdated, incomplete, or just plain wrong. Real wealth is quieter, deeper, and more powerful than most people realize, and it has a lot less to do with luck or hustle than you think. If you're ready to stop chasing shiny objects and start building true, lasting financial freedom, here's what you really need to know. Number 1. Wealth is more about mindset than money. Wealth, contrary to popular belief, is not simply the number in your bank account. It is a state of mind, a way of thinking, and a collection of deeply rooted habits that shape how you respond to opportunity, adversity, and discipline. It's why countless lottery winners, after a brief brush with riches, end up broke and disillusioned within a few short years, because while they may have acquired wealth suddenly, they never develop the inner structure to sustain or grow it. On the other hand, self-made individuals who've worked their way up from nothing often hold a kind of invisible blueprint. They've built the mental muscles, resilience, patience, discipline, and vision that allow them to fall, get back up, and rebuild stronger than before. This truth should bring comfort and power to anyone who feels behind or lost in today's financial race. The real foundation of wealth isn't about how much you have, but about how you think. As the Buddha once said, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." This inner architecture is far more powerful than a paycheck because it determines how long that paycheck lasts, and more importantly, whether it leads to a meaningful and peaceful life. In today's world of fast information, quick fixes, and financial anxiety, it is tempting to focus solely on external success, luxury, status, numbers. But wisdom invites us to turn inward first. The path to lasting prosperity begins not with chasing money, but with cultivating clarity of mind and consistency of action. As Warren Buffett once observed, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." Whether it's choosing to live below your means, investing time instead of spending it, or simply thinking long-term when others seek instant gratification, these are quiet practices that don't make headlines, but they build empires over time. In Buddhist tradition, wealth is not condemned, but it is to be held lightly with awareness. The Dhammapada teaches, "Let the wise man do good deeds, Even a single coin can accumulate great merit if done with the right intention. When we understand that real wealth lies in how we relate to our resources, our time, energy, money, and attention, we stop feeling powerless and start living purposefully. For men in their 30s to 60s, this is especially crucial. You're at the age where society expects stability, yet often fails to provide the tools for deep self-reliance. So remember, your mindset is your most valuable asset. Build it wisely, reflect daily, be mindful of your choices, and surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, not just spend. Wealth flows naturally to those who've prepared their minds to handle it with wisdom, not fear. Because at the end of the day, true prosperity is not measured by what you have, but by what you can give, sustain, and pass on with peace in your heart and purpose in your actions. Number 2. High income does not equal financial freedom. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone with a high salary who always seems to be stressed about money? Maybe it's even someone you know well, or maybe it's you. That's because most people are taught to focus on how much they earn, not how much they keep or how wisely they manage it. We grow up thinking that if we land a big-paying job, financial freedom will follow automatically. But here's the truth few will tell you. Income does not equal wealth. Just because you make more doesn't mean you're financially free. In fact, many high earners are stuck in a silent cycle of spending, debt, and lifestyle inflation. They buy more, owe more, and eventually have even less control over their lives. It's like running on a treadmill that never stops. You're moving fast, but are you actually getting anywhere? The real question you should ask yourself is this: if you stopped working today, how long could you maintain your current lifestyle without stress or panic? That's a clearer measure of wealth than any paycheck will ever show. True wealth isn't flashy, it's silent. It's not about the car you drive, the watch on your wrist, or the size of your home. It's about the freedom to choose how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you do each day. When you understand that wealth is the ability to stop working and still live well, you begin to see the world differently. You start to prioritize saving, investing, and building passive income over upgrading your lifestyle every time you get a raise. And here's where the real transformation begins, when you stop working just to survive and start working because you choose to, not because you have to. That's a life of power, not pressure. The Buddha once said, "It is a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways." In this context, the evil way is not necessarily bad behavior, it's the subtle trap of always needing more, never being content, and defining success by earnings instead of peace. So, ask yourself this: are you chasing income, or are you building freedom? Asterisk. There's a difference, and that difference will define how the next 10, 20, or 30 years of your life feel. You can have a six-figure salary and still feel like a prisoner if your lifestyle demands every cent. But you can also live on modest means and feel truly wealthy if you have control over your time, your choices, and your future. This is a mindset shift that the wealthy understand but rarely talk about. That's why you'll often hear stories of people who quietly retire early, not because they made millions overnight, but because they made wise, consistent choices that prioritized long-term freedom over short-term pleasure. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Don't let a big paycheck fool you into thinking you're financially free. Instead, focus on building systems that give you control, like saving consistently, investing wisely, avoiding debt, and learning how to live with contentment. Wealth isn't what you earn, it's what you can walk away from without fear. The lesson is simple. Shift your focus from income to independence, and you'll begin walking the path toward real, lasting wealth. Number 3. Most wealth is quiet. Have you ever noticed that the people who talk the loudest about their money often aren't the ones who are truly wealthy? Maybe it's the guy bragging about his car, or someone flashing designer brands all over social media, but beneath all that noise, the truth is often very different. You see, real wealth, the kind that builds over time and lasts through generations, is usually quiet. It's not about showing off. It's about stability, ownership, and long-term thinking. Real wealth lives in the background. It's the assets you don't see, the investments quietly compounding year after year, and the freedom that comes from not having to prove anything to anyone. That's the kind of wealth that matters. So let me ask you, are you building a life that looks rich, or a life that is rich? There's a big difference between looking successful and actually being secure, and the world around us often confuses the two. Most truly wealthy people understand the power of discretion. They don't need to make noise because their money is working for them behind the scenes. Their houses might not be the biggest, but they own them outright. Their cars may not be brand new, but they're paid for in full. Their bank accounts grow silently without needing applause. There's a wisdom in staying quiet about your wealth, because when you're not chasing validation, you can focus on creating value. As the Buddha once said, contentment is the greatest wealth. And it's true. When you stop needing to impress others, you start making decisions based on peace, not pressure. That's what gives you real power over your life. Think about this. Are you investing in things that grow in value, like real estate, stocks, or your own skills? Or are you pouring money into things that lose value the moment you buy them? Real wealth isn't just about what you own, it's about what you build. It's about the freedom to choose how you live each day, without debt, without fear, and without needing to keep up with someone else's highlight reel. And here's the thing most people don't realize: quiet. Wealth takes time. It's not overnight. It's built in the small, consistent choices you make over months and years. Saving a little more, spending a little less, and thinking long-term when the world tells you to think fast. As Warren Buffett famously said, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. That tree doesn't grow overnight, but when it does, it gives you shelter and peace. So ask yourself, what kind of tree are you planting today? What quiet decisions are you making that will give you freedom tomorrow? The world doesn't need to know what you're doing, but you do, and that's enough. The lesson here is clear. The loudest person in the room isn't always the richest, and the richest person isn't always the one you notice. Focus on building wealth that doesn't need validation, only wisdom. In a society obsessed with appearances, choosing to live quietly, intentionally, and wisely is a powerful act of self-respect, and that kind of wealth is the most valuable of all. If this message spoke to you, leave a comment with just 2 simple words: quiet wealth. It's a reminder that true success doesn't need to shout. Let's see how many of us are choosing peace over performance. Number 4. You have to delay gratification. Let's be honest, most people want financial success, but very few are willing to do what it truly takes to achieve it. And here's the hard truth that few ever say out loud. The road to lasting wealth is built on ordinary, often boring, and highly repetitive habits. It's not about striking it big overnight or finding some secret shortcut. It's about learning to delay gratification in a world that constantly tempts you with quick fixes and instant pleasure. It means creating a budget and sticking to it, even when it's uncomfortable. It means saving consistently, even when there's something more exciting you'd rather spend the money on. It means investing in assets, not liabilities. 7, if that means skipping the latest gadget or newest car model. It means continuing to learn about money, discipline, and mindset when everyone else is wasting time being entertained. Saying no to short-term desires isn't punishment, it's preparation. You are preparing your future self for freedom, As the old saying goes, do what is easy now, and life will be hard later. Do what is hard now, and life will be easy later. The Buddha taught, a man is not called wise because he talks and talks again, but if he is peaceful, loving and fearless, then he is in truth called wise. In today's terms, this could mean resisting the loud temptations around you and quietly choosing a path of long-term clarity. Delaying gratification is an act of both wisdom and self-respect, because it requires seeing beyond the now and investing in the life you truly want. Think of it like planting seeds. No one sees the harvest right away, but the man who plants, waters, and waits will one day be the only one with a field full of abundance. Most people are too impatient. They want results in a week, but real wealth grows slowly, steadily, and often silently. And here's where your power lies. When you embrace the boring, the repetitive, and the routine, you separate yourself from the crowd. You begin to build a life rooted in discipline, and that's where true freedom begins. So I ask you, what ordinary sacrifices are you willing to make today to create an extraordinary life tomorrow? Are you willing to drive an older car now so that you can own your time later? Can you skip that unnecessary vacation this year to invest in something that pays you for life? These aren't easy choices, but they are clear ones. Wealth doesn't reward the impulsive, it rewards the patient, the prepared, and the consistent. The lesson is simple but powerful. If you want to live differently than most people later, you must be willing to live differently than most people now. Don't trade what you want most for what you want right now. Focus, stay grounded, and remember that true wealth is not about how fast you get there, it's about how long you can hold it once you arrive. Number 5. You must take ownership. If you truly want to change your financial future, the first and most important step is this: you must take full ownership of your life. That means no more blaming the economy, your job, your boss, your upbringing, or even the mistakes others made that affected you. The truth is, while you may not be responsible for where you started, you are responsible for where you're headed. Yes, life throws curveballs. Yes, some people get better starting points. But the moment you shift from blaming to building, from excuses to action, everything changes. Ask yourself honestly, are you living as a victim of your circumstances or as the architect of your future? That single mindset shift from victim to architect is the beginning of all real wealth. Because once you take ownership, you take power. You begin to look for solutions instead of problems. You become accountable for your habits, your spending, your saving, your learning, and your growth. And when that happens, something incredible unfolds. You stop waiting for change, and you become the change. There's a Buddhist saying that offers deep insight here. You yourself must strive. The Buddhas only point the way. In other words, no one can walk this road for you. You can be inspired by others, but your steps must be your own. You must be the one to read the books, to make the sacrifices, to take the financial hits and learn from them, to build your systems of stability brick by brick. Now, this doesn't mean you won't face challenges. Taking ownership doesn't make life easier, it makes you stronger. The world may still be unfair, but you stop giving it the power to define your limits. You start showing up differently. You begin asking better questions. What can I control? What can I learn from this? What do I need to change? That's when your mindset starts creating momentum. When you own your results, 7, the disappointing ones, you also claim the ability to change them. You stop being a passenger and start driving. And that's what separates those who create lasting wealth from those who stay stuck. Because wealth isn't just about money, it's about self-leadership. It's about taking control of your time, your energy, and your financial future with discipline and intention. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Where in your life are you still pointing the finger instead of taking the wheel? It's not always easy to face, but it is always necessary. The real message here is simple. Success doesn't begin with the perfect opportunity, but with a decision to take ownership. When you do that, you stop living at the mercy of your circumstances and start building a life based on choice, not chance. That's the path to true wealth, not just in your wallet, but in your sense of freedom, purpose, and peace. Thank you for joining us on the journey of wisdom. As we've explored today, lucky numbers aren't just about chance. They're messages, energies, and gentle reminders from the universe to realign with purpose, intention, and growth. Whether it's the bold awakening of number 5 or the quiet clarity of 33, these numbers can serve as powerful guides both for spiritual awakening and financial transformation. If this video sparked something in you, don't let it end here. Please like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos filled with ancient teachings and practical insight for modern life. Until next time, stay grounded, stay aware, and remember, the path to true abundance begins within.